Hello and welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League's Equal League. As now you see a very wet qualifying session is currently underway. You see the Racing Point and the Alfa Romeo, Tamworth Fox right there, along with Foxy Red. No one has set a lap just yet. It looks like everybody has elected to take intermediate tires right now. Those are the green compound tires. In fact, yes, every driver is out on the intermediate tires. Judging by the rainfall here, I actually question that. I would assume that the full wet tires would be the way to go. Although the more I think about it, when you get into this tunnel section, there's no rainfall whatsoever. You're covered, you're under a roof. And so I can see kind of where the intermediate tires would play a huge advantage there. But it just looks like it's raining so hard that I'm surprised the intermediates are the best course of action here. But we're going to find out. Of course, we have 15 minutes in this qualifying session, as right now we're riding on board with Foxy Red 2000. No one's completed a lap just yet. If you're just now joining us, welcome to the live stream on Twitch. There we see IXE Fun just... Oh, there was a little bit of contact maybe between the Racing Point and IXE Fun. I mean, good thing it's only qualifying here. But it looked like he was trying to let the other car by. And then there was just no room. It looks like, well, it doesn't really look like there's a lot of damage there. I mean, again, it is just qualifying, so if you're going to have something happen, you need to have it happen right here. But this is Monaco, the Monaco Grand Prix. We, as Invictus Racing League, have not raced at this track, I believe, I was told, at least since 2017. And so this is a somewhat new experience for these drivers. Last night in the Performance League, me and Malk, we were talking about it, and we actually expected the race to be full of carnage. And not just us, but the three drivers that we interviewed after the race expected the race to be full of absolute carnage. But it wasn't. I mean, yeah, there were some moments here and there where a driver hit the wall. There was plenty of front wing damage from a bunch of different drivers. But overall, what you would expect at Monaco just did not happen last night. It was a relatively clean race, and good job to all those drivers involved, as now we see that three drivers have set a time. Right now, Scope Builder is your provisional pole sitter with a 124.595, followed by Ton Albanach, 125.916. However, Partridge 99 has now set the second fastest time with a 125.167. Tamworth Fox 127.421, and RG in fifth with a 151.315. Looks like IXE's having a little bit of an issue there in the hairpin, but I mean, who doesn't really have an issue in that hairpin? It is just a beast to get around, and I haven't actually reached Monaco yet in my career on this game here. Oh, and IXE Fun hit the wall just a little bit. Yes, he did, and there is wing damage. Definitely wing damage on both sides of that car, both sides of that Williams. In fact, he barely has a wing at all on the left side. I don't know what happened. Maybe he just came out of the tunnel turn, and then he kind of hit the wet spot on the track, and then maybe he just lost it. I don't know. But definitely look for him to pit here. We still have over 12 minutes remaining in the session. He can pit, make the adjustments that you're limited to, and, you know, get the new front wing and everything, and he might be able to go back out there and set a fast time. As you can see, we now have 8 drivers who have set a time. Yas is the second fastest qualifier right now, 124.090. Foxy Red 2000 in third with a 124.246. White Fountain in fourth with a 124.493. Partridge 99, who was the second fastest, now down to fifth with a 125.167. Everybody chasing Scopefielder with a 123.325 up there in that first position. So right now we're riding along with Aaron JS. He has just now started his outlap. A little bit of a slide through that corner there, but he didn't get into the wall. That's very fortunate. But when you got a wet race, and when you got, well, not a wet race, but when you have a wet qualifying session, I mean, that's just going to happen. It's the nature of the beast here. Now you see that Toro Rosso going real slow through that hairpin. And then Aaron JS almost getting into the wall as he went very wide in that hairpin. We're going to go check on our third place qualifier as of now, Foxy Red, in that Alfa Romeo. Looks like he's trying to set a real fast lap. Got to be real careful around this corner. You do not want to lose the grip and slam into that wall. Personally, I can't imagine what it's like to be out there right now. As I said, I have not yet reached Monaco in my career on this game. And I have not even drove Monaco on any F1 game in the wet. So those cars must be an absolute nightmare to drive right now. Check in on the Toro Rosso of White Fountain. He's going through the hairpin. Does he get by? Yes, he does. No risk at hitting the wall. Maybe just a little bit wide, but he got through none the worse for wear. Going through the tunnel now. Now let's just see. I mean, obviously, as expected, no moisture under the tunnel whatsoever. But I feel like that really makes it hard for these drivers. As you saw, that going into that chicane there, he had a bit of a lockup, but I think it makes it really hard for those drivers when they're transitioning from the dry surface to the wet surface. Because, you know, it's not like you're having to really get on the wheel and turn when you're coming out of the tunnel, but you see there that there is just a slight little bit of the track that kind of veers over, you know, and you kind of just have to turn the wheel to the right just a little bit. And so I think that that's just enough to maybe upset these cars a little bit, and I think that's what happened to IXE Fun a little bit ago, is now you see White Fountain pulling into the pits. We're now going to watch Partridge 99, Partridge in a Pear Tree. I'm not going to lie, I actually do like that name. I have no idea where it came from, but it's funny, and I always think of the Christmas song when I see his name. Partridge 99, of course, our 7th fastest qualifier as of right now. Fastest lap of a 125.167. Whoa! And he absolutely loses it coming out of the chicane right after the tunnel turn. Gets into the wall. I mean, definitely some wing damage there. At the very least, he was all up on that wheel, and I thought for a minute maybe he was going to save it, but he just was not able to get it. And he's still struggling just a little bit, getting just a little bit loose in these corners here. In fact, he's getting way loose in that corner there, but he was able to get it pointed into the pits, get pointed into the right direction. And now you see there he is pulling into the pits, and he is going to back that, well, they're going to back that car back into the garage. As now we're riding with TB. He's having some issues. He's going to let that racing point by. That is the racing point of either CPI Alex or Tamworth Fox. That is Tamworth Fox. And right now we're going to go back to TV. I want to see exactly what's going on with him. I want to know if he was going slow or if he's really having some issues here. As now you see Scopefielder has set the fastest time of this session yet again with a 122.734. And that's almost a full second over Archie's time, who has now been put down to third. He has a 123.626, as you saw TV getting the wall there. But Sam the Paito, or Samu, I'll call him Samu, he's in the second position now with a 123.468. No one has anything for Scope Builder just yet, it doesn't look like. But we do have 6 minutes or so remaining in this qualifying session. Plenty of time for drivers to get out there and make a challenge for the pole position. I will say, though, I'm hoping for a dry race here. I think it's going to make it much more exciting if we have a dry race other than a wet race. And it's ironic I say that because, you know, the wet race, it really gives some unpredictability to it. But the reason I want a dry race is, I don't know. I'm the kind of person that just really wants to see racing. I don't want to see weather take an effect on it. That being said, I thoroughly enjoyed this past weekend's German Grand Prix. So maybe with that thought, it's just a win-win for me. Now here's what I was talking about here. You come out of the tunnel turn and then you have to turn to the right just a very little bit. And I'm thinking that the tires are having issue gaining that grip because it's so wet right there. And maybe that's what happened to IXC, and I think that a lot of drivers are going to have problems at that chicane in this qualifying session. And if it's a wet race, then there's going to be some carnage there for sure. 12 of 14 drivers have currently set a time. Aaron JS has retired from this session, so he will not set a time. The only other driver who has yet to set a time is IXE Fun. And the fastest lap now belongs to White Fountain, a 1:22.242. Congratulations to White Fountain. He's got 5 minutes to defend it, as Scope Builder still holds second place with a 1:22.734, and Yas in third with a 1:22.9. 1:22s belonging to the top three. Sam in fourth with a 1:23.4. Archie in fifth with a 1:23.6. Both Toro Rossos there. You saw Ton get really wide there. Or excuse me, not Ton, TB. He gets through the chicane relatively unscathed. As does White Fountain. Very smooth chicane there by every driver. Sam has now set the fastest time of this session. He's got a 1:22.126. So that knocks Scope Builder back to third. Yas in fourth. White Fountain on your screen right now in second position. We have just over 3.5 minutes remaining. So now you see White Fountain pulling into the pits. We're going to look at Sam here as he has gotten into the wall. He's gotten into the wall in the hairpin. I'm not sure what's going on there. And as he was trying to pull away, he got into the wall yet again. Big issues here for that McLaren. Not sure what's going on. I don't know if he's a wheel or a pad user. Maybe there's some sort of calibration issue. But definitely some issues from that McLaren right after he set the fastest time. But he doesn't even own the fastest time now because Foxy Red 2000 has obliterated that time. He ran a 1:21.160. And Yas in second with a 1:21.982. Sam in third with a 1:22.126. In the matter of a lap, Sam goes from first to third. And Scope Builder, who has held the lead in this session since the beginning of it until just recently, is now all the way back to sixth, as Ton Albanach has now set the third fastest time of 1:22.110. Very close lap times here, and it actually looks like maybe the rain's letting up just a little bit. I wonder if maybe that's coming into play. Right now you see Foxy Red gets a little loose and actually overshoots the chicane. He could not get it slowed down. He just had to go right through it. Overshoots another chicane right there. Foxy Red having a hell of a time trying to get that thing slowed down. On board with the Renault of Yas. He's currently our second fastest qualifier. One and a half minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Does anybody have anything for Foxy Red 2000, who's sitting on top of the board with a 121.160? Archie might have something to say about that, though, as he's now set the second fastest time with a 121.282. 0.2 of a second, Archie, and you've got the pole. Scopefielder now in that second position with a 121.194. So a really good time from Scopefielder there, but no one has anything for Foxy Red just yet. Foxy Red in the pits, not out on the track right now, so he's not able to defend this position if something were to happen here. If he wants to get back out, he's going to have to soon before the clock runs out, but I don't think it's really going to be a big issue for him. Now you see Archie there in the Alfa Romeo. He gets through the chicane relatively cleanly. Maybe, just maybe, he cut that corner a little bit. How will his lap go here? He does not improve on his time. The clock is now out. The drivers that are on the track will be allowed to complete their lap. Foxy Red out on track right now, actually, and this is going to be his final lap. He's nearing the pit entrance now. I don't expect him to pull into the pits, of course. I expect him to try to complete this lap and see what he can get out of it. Very smooth through these corners here. Scopefielder now with the fastest time. Will Foxy Red be able to improve on his? No, he will not. Scopefielder with a 120.703 is going to very likely be your pole sitter. Foxy Red in second with a 121.160. Archie in third with a 121.282. Yas in fourth with a 121.439. And Ton in fifth with a 122.110. Of course, the clock still has to run out. Let these drivers complete their lap. Maybe it wasn't Foxy Red's last lap. We're going to see here. Yas is retired from the session, so he's gave up the ghost. He's going to line up in the fourth position. And it's official, Foxy Red 2000 in the second position. Scopefielder is your pole sitter for the Invictus Racing League Equal League Monaco Grand Prix. His time was a 120.703, followed by Foxy Red, LR Archie in third, Yas, Ton Albanach, sixth place, to Sam, Partridge 99 in seventh, White Fountain in eighth, ninth is Tamworth Fox, 10th is TB, M. Doran in 11th, 12th is CPI Alex, IXE Fun in 13th, and Aaron JS 1992 in the 14th position, who did not set a time. So he will be lining up this race from the rear. But good job to all the drivers out there, as now the qualifying session is officially over. And momentarily, we will be able to officially get underway with the F1 Equal League Monaco Grand Prix, brought to you by the Invictus Racing League. So, to our viewers on Twitch, what are your early predictions for this race? You've seen the qualifying sessions, you've seen who's fast. Granted, that was in wet conditions versus the dry conditions, but what are your early predictions here for this race? Who do you think is going to be the top three? Who do you think is going to walk away with that top spot, with the coveted win here today? Go ahead and tell me in the chat on Twitch while we're going ahead and waiting for this race to start up, waiting for all the drivers to ready up. Then we'll see them on the grid to begin their formation lap. I am very excited here for the Monaco Grand Prix. As I said, we had a race last night in the Performance League here, and that was actually the Performance League's first points race of the year due to network issues the week before. But anyway, I digress. It was actually a relatively clean race than what you would expect from Monaco. There was, a few incidents here and there when it comes to drivers kind of hitting the wall, and there was plenty of wing damage. But really no wrecks. There was no safety cars, no virtual safety cars. Every driver really drove it clean, and there were 14 drivers in that as well. A few of them actually carrying over. Scopefielder was in that field. Aaron JS was in that field. And Ton Albanach, he was also in that field last night. So we have 3 drivers from the Performance League joining us here tonight. Of course, they are full-time running in this series as well. As you see there, the formation lap has officially begun. Heading down to the turn pin, we got Scopefielder in first, followed by Foxy Red in second. Third is LR Archie. Yas in fourth, Ton in fifth, Sam in sixth, Partridge 99 in seventh, White Fountain in eighth, Tamworth Fox in ninth, TB in 10th, M. Doran in 11th, 12th is CPI Alex, IXC Fun in 13th, and Aaron JS in the 14th position. He did not set a qualifying time, so he's lining up in the back. And he's got those hard tires on. I wonder how long he's going to try to make him. He's going to make him last. Scopefielder and Mr. Sky Z in the Performance League last night were able to make their hard tires, their final set of tires, last 31 and 30 laps respectively. And that is absolutely amazing. I mean, I know they're the hard tires. They're the harder, they're the harder compound. They're not going to, they're not going to wear as fast as the soft and the mediums. But it was still just absolutely amazing to see them stretch those tires for that long. And mind you, they finished 1-2. Scopefielder finished in first, and Mr. Sky Z finished in second place. So they didn't just stretch out their tires just to do it. They did it, and they won the race. So now you see all the drivers lining up on the grid now. Momentarily, we will be ready to go, and I am just absolutely on the edge of my seat. I'm ready to watch this. I'm so excited. I love watching Monaco. I love watching it last night. I love watching the Monaco Grand Prix, even though, when Lewis Hamilton won quite a few weeks ago, the Mercedes had that wonderful tribute to Niki Lauda there. But this is the F1 Equal League, and we are underway for our Monaco Grand Prix as Scopefielder gets out to a very early lead. But the Red Bull of Ton back there, he's making some moves, and it was 3 wide there for a little bit with Yas. Yas maybe getting some wing damage already here, as there was just no real estate going into turn 1. Gonna ride on board with Yas as we see Foxy Red and LR Archie right up there, but Scopefielder in the Renault is absolutely gone. And Yas gets loose. Oh my goodness, and this is just gonna be absolute carnage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 cars involved in this. Just absolute carnage. Yas just got loose and lost it. We see Sam also involved. Sam against the wall and right behind in the... Oh my goodness, that was just absolute carnage. We were on board with Yas, and he just got in the throttle just a little too much and just completely lost it. So Sam's day is done. Yas' day is done. Aaron, I even believe his day is done. And M. Doran, he was involved as well. Do we see any wing damage on IXC Fun? Was he involved? Because Yas was running in the 4th position, so he basically... We see some wing coming off of the racing point there. That is CPI Alex. He does have wing damage. In fact, he has no wing at all. But Yas, he just lost it. He got into the throttle just a little bit, and it just turned on him. And he was running in 4th place, so he spun basically in front of the entire field. And I'm surprised that we did not have a wreck that completely blocked the track, and I'm surprised we didn't even have a VSC. But everyone, well, not everyone got through. But some people got through, and the ones that did, their race is still underway. Right now we see Ton in the Red Bull. He's in the 4th position, trying to get right up to the bumper of those those Alfa Romeos. As LR Archie just barely tapped the wall coming out of the hairpin. On board with Ton. He's trying to chase down that Alfa Romeo. Not sure if it's going to work. He's going to gain some ground here in the chicane. But LR Archie has a much better exit than Ton does. Scope Builder still in command of this race with a 0.6 second lead over Foxy Red. JS 1992, he has a 3-second time penalty. Currently looks like Foxy Red is gaining just a little bit on Scope Builder, now down to about half the second. Monaco is one of those tracks to where it's really not easy to overtake here, so even if he can catch him, I don't know where he's going to be able to make that pass. There's really only a few places that you can get it done. Exiting the tunnel turn and then going into turn 1, those are obviously the best places. I've seen people make moves going into the hairpin, but it gets really, really dicey. Running almost nose to tail is that Renault and the Alfa Romeo, as the Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red actually had a big lock up there. I don't know if he got into the back of Scope or not, but that was a big lockup coming out of the tunnel turn heading into that chicane there. He's now receiving a lot of pressure from LR Archie, also in the Alfa Romeo. Behind them is Ton and the Red Bull. He's going to want to capitalize on this if anything happens to them. We have 4 cars in contention for podium and maybe even the lead right here. Fastest lap right now set by TB. He's running in the 7th position, so he will not be contending for the lead at the moment. On board with Foxy Red as they go through the hairpin. He's trying to get to that bumper, of Scope. As now Sam the Pito has officially retired from the session. He will end this with the DNF. A very, very bad day for him. Unfortunate. Now M. Doran, who was very well, I think he was actually involved in that wreck with Yas. He has now set the fastest lap. Yellow flag in Sector 2. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2. What's going on here? It looks like maybe it was TB. I'm not sure here. It's green flag now, but maybe TB. He just got a little loose. Maybe he spun or something or overshot the chicane, but I know there was a yellow flag. Everything's fine now. Archer's 99 in the pits. White Fountain right now. We're riding with him. He's in the 5th position. He's quite a ways away from the Red Bull of Ton, who is still quite a ways away from Scope Builder in that Renault. And in between those 2 drivers are 2 Alfa Romeos, just as hungry for the lead. As you see there, Foxy Red 2000 gonna try to make a move on the outside. At least he thought about making a move on the outside in the hairpin. He thought better of it, just could not get it lined up. I don't see how that was gonna work, but hey, if you can make that work at Monaco with the hairpin, be my guest. I want to see it. That slipstream going to try to make the move on the outside, but cannot make it work yet again. Foxy Red must be really frustrated. All he wants to do is get by Scope Builder. He has plenty of time left in this race, but you know as well as I do, track position is very important, especially here at Monaco. If he can get by Scope Builder, then the problems that we're seeing Foxy Red have right now will then be transferred over to Scope Builder, trying to get the lead back, because it's just how Monaco is. There's not a lot of opportunities for overtaking. Foxy Red, though, he don't care. He was going to try to make that move, but yet again, it does not work. Scope Builder just a little too quick for him right now. These drivers are absolutely nose to tail. It's almost like they're locked into each other. It's like Scope Builder is just pulling an Alfa Romeo trailer here. Very nice through the hairpin with Foxy Red. Gets a little loose coming out of there. That's going to cause him to lose quite a bit of time, as you see Scope Builder just pulling away. That must be heartbreaking. It's only lap 6, but he get so close. Foxy Red, he's getting so close to making these passes. But he just can't. It's like he needs an extra 500 feet of a straightaway in order to really set it up, as now it looks like Foxy Red has actually gotten into the wall or something. Something fell off of that Alfa Romeo. But yeah, the part of the right side of his front wing has fallen off of that Alfa Romeo, so that's actually unfortunate for him. That's going to really cause that car to handle very badly. Now, yesterday, we saw 3 drivers in the Performance League at the end of the race stay out with the damaged wing, and it actually went relatively well for them. None of them won the race, but they weren't really in contention for the win there at the end. Either Ton Albinach, I think he finished about 3rd place. He had a damaged wing. And their driver by the name of Mr. P, he also had a damaged wing, and he stayed out there. And there was one more who had a damaged wing who I forgot. So a damaged wing here is not a death sentence. It's just going to make that thing handle a bit harder. But man, Foxy Red just absolutely being very aggressive, trying to motor his way by and shove his way by into the first position there. And he went by on the outside, and really, I think Schofield just had to surrender that position there. Otherwise, they were both going to crash otherwise. But an enormously aggressive move by Foxy Red there to take the lead, and I am very surprised. One, two, three, four is Foxy Red 2000, Scopefielder, Archie, and Ton. White Fountain in the 5th position, followed by Tamworth Fox in the 6th position. However, there is a battle right now. No, there is not a battle. White Fountain and Tamworth Fox have pitted. So TV is now in the 5th position. Partridge 99 in the 8th position. 9th is CPI Alex. 10th is M. Doran. Aaron JS in the 11th position. Yas in 12th. 13th is IXE Fun. And our first DNF of the race, Sam, in the 14th position. Riding on board with Ton Albinot. Through the tunnel. Looks like Archie is actually gaining some ground on Scopefielder. But at the same time, it also looks like Scopefielder is gaining some more ground on Foxy Red. We have what is essentially a three to four car battle, however you want to look at it, for the lead here. As now you see Scopefielder pulling into the pits. That will give 2nd place to Archie and 3rd to Ton Albinach. Scopefielder likely going to rejoin this field in about the 5th or 6th position. Tire data here. Most drivers, it seems, elected to start on the medium tires. Scopefielder pitting now. He is elected to take the hard tires. White Fountain is also pitted along with Partridge 99. They both took the hard tires. Tamworth Fox took the hard tires. Yas took the hard tires. IXE Fun, he took the hard tires. Hard tires are going to be the way to go here at the end. My question is Scopefielder going to try to make those tires last for 30 laps again? And how many drivers are going to try to get their hard tires to last for that long? As right now you see LR Archie really putting a lot of pressure on Foxy Red 2000. Nose to tail are these drivers. Archie maybe going to try to make a move in turn 1, but he just was not close enough. Could not get it even lined up. Approaching the hairpin now. Will Archie maybe try to make a move there? No, he will not. They're going to stay in line. Ton Albinach right there in 3rd, just with them. A 3-way car battle for the lead right here. Now, our top 4 drivers have yet to pit. That is Foxy Red, LR Archie, Ton Albinach, and TB. Yas now has a 3 30-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So a bad day for Yas. Things just keep piling on, but at this point, I really don't think that the time penalty is going to matter. Very smooth turn one by Archie. Still surprised that these drivers haven't pitted. I'm wondering what they're doing here. I mean, I assume that they're just trying to make the mediums last as long as possible, and they're still within their window, honestly. I can see these mediums lasting approximately 15 laps at least. At least if you manage them correctly. I mean, tire management is all, that's always the name of the game. I mean, sometimes a set of tires can only last 2 laps if you're really crazy on them. And you spin. But I digress. But it really does look like hard tires are the way to go. And as I said, with Scopefielder going 30 laps on those hard tires in the oh my goodness, and LR Archie has big issues in that chicane. And contact from Ton Albanach, so there's probably wing damage on that Red Bull. And there may even be some damage at the rear for that Alfa Romeo. We're not sure. We're going to see who pits and who doesn't here. Gonna look at Ton here. Surprisingly, his wing looks okay. But there was some debris coming off of one car or another, and it likely was Ton, as that was a hard hit into the back of the Alfa Romeo. Foxy Red and Archie up front. Scopefielder in the 5th position, as I was saying a lap ago, before the minor carnage. I think that what Scopefielder is going to try to do is go about 30 laps on those hard tires, because that's what we saw him do yesterday in the Performance League race. However, if Foxy Red and Archie are trying to make the medium tires last as long as possible, and then they pit to get the hard tires, then they're going to have newer tires. That might play into their hands later on in this race. So we're seeing a lot of strategy going on here, and a lot of, well, not a lot of different tire choices so much as just how long these drivers are willing to go on their tires. Because we saw drivers like Tamworth Fox and Partridge 99, they pitted a little bit earlier. And then Scopefielder, he only pitted 3 laps ago. Ton Albanach, he's now pitted for the hard tires. He's in there right now getting his front wing changed, so it's official that he did have some front wing damage. That's going to knock him back all the way to at least the 5th position. Now we see White Fountain there in the 4th position. He's trying to chase down Scopefielder. White Fountain has 1 lap, tires are 1 lap older than Scopefielder. The race still in command by these Alfa Romeo cars. Foxy Red 2000 and LR Archie, they're just absolutely the class of the field right now. Scopefielder was leading there for quite a while, but once Foxy Red got by him, he decided to go into the pits. And if you're just joining us on Twitch, the move that Foxy Red made to get the lead from Scopefielder was absolutely amazing. You see he has some front wing damage here. That happened the lap prior. And then coming out of the tunnel, going into that chicane, I don't know how he did it, but somehow Foxy Red was able to brake super, super late. Bit of a lockup, and he basically just pushed and shoved his way by Scopefielder to take the lead. Nothing that was dirty, nothing that, that I would consider uncalled for. It was just really hard racing for track position at a track that overtaking is rare. Looks like Partridge 99 is elected to pit yet again. There must have been some sort of issue as he is getting a new front wing put on, and he's going back out on the medium tires. We have Yas in the 10th position there in that Renault. Now, of course, he spun on the first lap. That's why he's all the way back there. He actually started about 4th position, I believe, and he spun on the first lap while running 4th. Right around here, actually, and that caused about 3 or 4 cars to be involved in some carnage. And, you know, as you see Sam down there in 14th place, he was our first DNF because of that. So far, that's the only issue that I've seen that we've seen happen on track. At least wreck. There's been a couple, you know, a few scrapes with the wall, maybe a few bumps to another car, but otherwise, that's really the only incident I've seen. Toro Rosso and TV chasing down the racing point of CPI Alex, who has a big lock up into that corner. Gets away unscathed. TV has DRS, and now Partridge 99 is retired from the session. So we have 2 DNFs now. Not sure what happened between Partridge and, well, obviously another driver, or maybe he just got loose and hit the wall himself. We won't know. But TV gaining a lot of ground here on this Racing Point machine of CPI Alex. Will he be able to make the pass? Maybe in the hairpin, maybe coming out of the tunnel. He will not make it in the hairpin. There is just no room. To make it past in the hairpin requires absolute precision and even a little bit of luck. On board now with CPI Alex as he is chasing a Racing Point car of Tamworth Fox. Another lockup from that left front on CPI Alex. That's going to allow TB to get even closer, but I don't think he can get any more closer without absolutely passing him. He is right there on him. He is trying to, at the very least, stay with him. Almost got into the back of him, but he got away unscathed. Maybe tapped the wall there on exit. But he has the DRS. He might have the advantage, and he might be able to make the pass this time around. No, he will not. We'll check back in on this a little bit later. We see White Fountain there battling with Scope Builder for the 3rd position. Well, more or less really riding in line more than a battle, but up front is still Foxy Red 2000, 0.9 seconds ahead of LR Archie. And these drivers have now went 15 laps on their medium tires. And that's I can see the medium tires lasting about 15 laps, but now I want to see what they do. I assume they're going to pit within the next few laps and put on the hard tires, and that will give them at least an 8-lap advantage on their tires than what Scope Builder has. So that might play into their hands later on in this race. And they almost have a free pit stop, not quite. Scope Builder is 16 seconds behind LR Archie, so we can say he's about 17 seconds behind Foxy Red 2000. That's still enough for Scope Builder to inherit the lead after pit stops, but it will be close. So no free pit stop for these Alfa Romeos, but fresher tires might be the key here that gets them a win. Though we're only approximately halfway through with this race. I think Archie's tires are really starting to wear down. He had a bit of wheel spin coming out of that corner. Luckily his car was pointed straight. He didn't have to correct it too much. Now you see IXE Fun under power there. He has wing damage. He's going into the pits. "17 laps now on these medium tires, and I am watching them very intently. They should still be alright, but Scope Builder is slightly gaining on them. They might want to think about pitting here very soon. Of course, I have the very easy view up here. I have the split times at my disposal. I have the data of who has what tire at my disposal. These drivers, they don't necessarily have all that much that I have right here. They've got plenty, don't get me wrong. You know, they can see split times between the car in front of the car behind them. But they can't see what tires everyone has. They can't see where everyone is running. But Scopefielder, he is definitely eating into that gap. It was 16 seconds about 2 laps ago. Now it's down to 15.3. So he seems to be knocking it down at this rate at about half a second a lap. And he's only got 9 laps on those hard tires. And as I said, we've seen him go 30. But Foxy Red and LR Archie, the longer they stay out, the more time they're going to lose to Scopefielder. But at the same time, the newer their hard tires are going to be once they pit. Unless they're going to try to go an insanely long distance on these medium tires and then elect for softs. I don't see that happening. But I've seen crazier things happen before. Approaching the tunnel once again. We're going to ride on board with LR Archie. Chases down that Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red 2000. Really no chance for an overtake here. Foxy Red's just way too ahead. But at this point, I just think that Archie and Foxy Red are just kind of riding around, biding their time, trying to conserve their tires as much as possible. That would really be the smart thing to do. But they still need to, if they can see where Scopefielder is, they need to take a look at that. If I was Archie anyway, I'd be radioing to Jeff and asking where the car behind me is, but it doesn't matter now. It'd be a moot point as Archie is now making his first pit stop of this race. What tires will he pick? I almost undoubtedly believe it's going to be the hard tires, as now you see the pit stop being made and he pulls away. TV has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and Archie has officially taken the hard tires. He's going to rejoin this race in the 4th position. 0 laps on those hard tires versus 11 and 12 on the drivers in front of him. Just be careful, Archie. You gotta be careful. Those tires are cold. And now we see Scopefielder 15 seconds behind the leader of Foxy Red. Scopefielder sees nothing in front of him, but he knows that 15 seconds ahead is a red and white Alfa Romeo. And there is that red and white Alfa Romeo. About to lap Yas in that Renault. Foxy Red going to stay out yet another lap. This will be 20 laps actually on his tires. 20 laps on the medium tires. Not sure how much longer they're going to go. As now we see Ton Albanach has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Yas's car is ghosted, you can see there, so Foxy Red, no issues getting by him. And there's a Ferrari in the wall in the hairpin. A Ferrari in the wall in the hairpin. It's Aaron JS 1992. He's already retired from the session. I can't go back to look at it, but Aaron JS 1992 in the wall at the hairpin, and he will retire from this session. This is an official DNF for him already. Very unfortunate for him. Right there where that F1 2019 banner was, that was where the Ferrari was sitting. Of course, he's not there now. I don't even know where Aaron was running at the time when it happened. I just was on board with CPI Alex, and then I saw the Ferrari at the wall. We're going to look back in on Archie, who has now caught White Fountain and is within half a second or so of striking distance. 0.6 seconds to be exact, 0.667 last time I looked at the side of the screen. He's catching him ever so slowly. 21 laps now has Foxy Red on those medium tires. And 14 seconds separates him and Scopefielder, the second place car. At some point, Foxy Red is going to have to pit. I just do not think that those medium tires will be able to last 39 laps. I don't care how long you can serve. 39 laps is just a little too much. But again, if he can do it, be my guest. I'd love to see something crazy. But right now, as they run, it is Foxy Red in the first position, followed by the Renault of Scope. White Fountain in the Toro Rosso in third, followed by the Alfa Romeo of LR Archie, Ton Albanon in the fifth position. Sixth place is Tamworth Fox, CPI Alex in seventh, TV in eighth, Indoor in 09 in the ninth position. 10th is IXE Fun, Yost is 11th, Aaron JS, Partridge 99, and Sam 12th, 13th, and 14th, all with a DNF. And LR Archie has left the session. Archie has left the session. I don't know what's going on there. He's pitted and he's left the session. Apparently there's some wing damage or something. Yeah, there's definitely wing damage to Archie. I don't know what happened. I thought I saw it out of the corner of my eye something happened, but I don't know. But that's really going to shake things up because it looked like he had a good car for a podium, maybe even a win here. The Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red is still in command of this race, 14 seconds ahead of Scopefielder. And 22 laps on those medium tires. On board with Foxy Red as he does not go into the pits this time. So it's going to be 23 laps on those tires. Scopefielder in the second position still, receiving pressure, but not a lot, from the Toro Rosso of White Fountain. Fun fact, I just learned yesterday, maybe I'm late to the party here, but I learned yesterday that Toro Rosso translates to Red Bull in Italian. And I'm sure that everybody but me knew that. But when I heard that, my mind was actually blown, because it just works, you know? Anyway, I digress. Foxy Red is in the tunnel right now versus Scopefielder, who is just now starting to enter the hairpin. That will give you a rough estimate of the time difference here. Of course, Scopefielder is slowly eating into that. Scopefielder 15 laps on his hard tires, and we saw him go 30 in the race yesterday. Gonna ride on board with Foxy Red. Will he pit this time? No, he does not. He stays out yet again. I don't know what his strategy is, but I'm very curious to see if it works for him at all. I thought I saw a Red Bull momentarily. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy, but anyway, I digress. There is now a battle between Scopefielder and White Fountain. White Fountain getting just a little bit closer. We're going to ride right on board with him just so we can see things from his perspective. Gets a little loose coming out of that corner, but he saves it. That same corner that Yost got loose out of, and unfortunately Yost did not save it. He got into the wall big time. Entering the tunnel now. Will White Fountain be able to gain on Scopefielder? He's not going to be able to make the pass into this chicane, but he does get right up to the back of that Renault, but loses time in the chicane when he has to take evasive action, thinking he was going to get into the back of him. A very precise track is Monaco, as Foxy Red is still out in first position with 25 laps on those medium tires. And there is just no way he's going 39 laps. I'm surprised he's went this long. White Fountain's going to try to set up a pass for the next few corners here. He's just trying to keep Scopefielder in his sights for now. Still loose off of that corner. Scopefielder's car looks a little bit more stable through the hairpin now. White Fountain just could not stick his nose in there, but there was really no room to stick it in. Now they're going through the tunnel, and White Fountain just does not get the exit that he needs to out of these corners. And now things have just gotten interesting as Foxy Red has a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. So things are going to get very interesting now. Foxy Red finally makes his pit stop with 25 laps on those medium tires. Look for him to maybe sit this 5 seconds. I don't know if they're going to add it on to the end of the race, if they're going to make him sit in the pits. And apparently his strategy was to go for soft tires. He did not go for the hard tires. He went for the soft tires. That's actually a pretty smart strategy with about 13 laps to go here. But that time penalty for him is very unfortunate as Foxy Red rejoins this race in the 4th position. But virtually is 5th with that time penalty. So now Scopefielder has re-inherited the lead with an enormous amount of pressure from the Toro Rosso of White Fountain. I feel like White Fountain might have picked it up a little bit now, knowing that that position in front of him is for the lead. Just do not make a mistake if you want to try to get this win here, but Scopefielder still has an amazing exit out of these corners. Gonna ride on board with Scopefielder here. I want to see his secrets. Approaching turn 1, there's going to be no battle. White Fountain and Toro Rosso is going to have to settle for 2nd position yet again. He has about 12 laps to make a move if he wants to, but he's going to have to set it up first, and he's going to have to be very, very patient. Looks like he got a good exit out of the corner that time. They're now approaching the hairpin. Things can get a little dicey here, but it does not. Toro Rosso gets really close to that Renault, but no contact whatsoever, as now they're about to round this corner right here to enter the tunnel turn. In the corner leading into the tunnel. That section, that exit, that is where White Fountain is losing the most time. He just does not have the exit out of that corner that he needs. A little bit of a lock up there from White Fountain, but only a little bit. He now has 20 laps on his tires to Scopefielder's 19. It's now a 20 and 21. And Foxy Red on those soft tires has now set the fastest lap of the session with a 1 minute 11 seconds. Soft tires may have been the way to go, but Foxy Red is about 5 seconds out from the lead, though, so I don't know what it's going to really be able to do for him, especially with that time penalty. Because even if he inherited the lead right now, he would still have a 5-second time penalty that goes against him at the end of the race. With that, I'd say Foxy Red is just about out of contention for a win, maybe a podium. He might be able to get a podium. There will be, but there will not be an Alfa Romeo victory here today. As the Toro Rosso of White Fountain still trying to make moves on Scopefielder, trying to just stay close to him really at this point though. He has the DRS, it's going to give him some advantage, but not enough to even try to set up a pass, but he just needs to stay close to him and wait to pounce. I think he's hoping for Scopefielder to make a mistake so he opens the door for him. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure what's going on there, as we see all the drivers now entering the hairpin. You see the Red Bull of Ton right behind him and riding on board with it. You can see what he's looking at and the gap that he has to make up just to get to second and first place. Behind him, of course, is Foxy Red, who you can see all the drivers, but you cannot catch them. They're in your eyesight. Cannot catch them. Ton Almanach, he had a bit of a corner cut there. I don't know if the stewards are going to let that slide or not. Tamworth Fox now has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He is running in the 5th position. White Fountain getting really close to that Renault. Still not able to make it hold. A yellow flag in Sector 3. Looks like IXE Fun has suffered a DNF. I switched cameras and just barely saw what was a car stopped on the front stretch there. So IXE Fun with a DNF. We now have 4 drivers with a DNF, 10 drivers now running this race. So that means that 10 drivers, all 10 of these drivers are going to walk away with points. So Yas, after that big mistake on the first lap, is going to still walk away with a point. Points are very valuable to that championship at the end of the season. We now have what is essentially a 4-car battle for the lead between Scope, White Fountain, Ton Almanach, and Foxy Red 2000. Going into that hairpin, the cars were just nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail. Foxy Red gonna make a big move on Ton, big move on Ton, and he shoves Ton way wide. Causes Con to cut the corner. He gave the position back, but Ton got a 5-second time penalty anyway. Foxy Red, is he going to try to make a move going into turn 1? He thought about it, but just could not make it work. You see the battle between the Renault and the Toro Rosso going on just ahead of this battle between the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo. Foxy Red going to try to go on the outside, but he does not make it work, but he is right on the bumper of that Red Bull. They're entering the tunnel now. He's going to use that slipstream to his advantage. Ton Almanach kind of protecting the middle of the track. Foxy Red going to make a move now and shoves Ton wide yet again. I can't figure out what's happening here, and I can't even say who's at fault here. But it's a Red Bull of Ton versus the Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red, and they just keep touching wheels. Approaching the hairpin now. What's Foxy Red going to do? He tried to make a move on the outside last time. He's going to try to maybe do a crossover that time. Did not work. Foxy Red all up on the bumper of that Red Bull. If you're just joining us on Twitch, watch this right now. He's going to try to make a move again. In the last 2 laps, he forced the Red Bull wide, but he's not going to. He forced him wide again. He got into the back of him and forced him wide again. Ton Albanach is now retired from this session. Foxy Red 2000 now with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's running in the 3rd position. He has a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting. On top of that, he just kept. It looked like he forced the Red Bull wide. Again, I have no idea what happened, though, between these 2 drivers. That may be a bit interesting there. I don't know, but Ton Albanach has retired from the session. He will officially have a DNF, so it is now 5 cars with DNF here at Monaco with only 5 laps to go. The running order as you see it is Scope Builder in the 1st position, followed by White Fountain in the Toro Rosso, Foxy Red in the Alfa Romeo. 4th and 5th is Tamworth Fox and CPI Alex, both in Racing Point machines. M. Doran 09 in the 6th position, TB in the 7th, LR Archie in 9th, 10th is Yas. Of course, those drivers, Archie's going to be 8th, Yas going to be 9th as soon as they pass Ton, who has suffered a DNF and another big lockup from Foxy Red 2000 there. He's trying so hard to get this track position, trying so hard to get up to Scope Builder, but even if he got up to Scope Builder, it would be a moot point, as he has too many time penalties for it to matter. I do not think Foxy Red is going to walk away with this win here. I don't even think he's going to walk away with 2nd here. He will get 3rd. The gap back to 4th is just too great. He will get 3rd here, barring any major mistakes. But a win is out of the question with the time penalties, because I don't believe Scope Builder has acquired any at all. White Fountain now putting a lot of pressure back on Foxy Red. He wants the 2nd position back. Entering the tunnel now, lap 36 of 39. Foxy Red 2.1 seconds behind your leader of Scope Builder, who's in that Renault. Toro Rosso putting a lot of pressure on the Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red, but Foxy Red is slowly but surely pulling away from the Toro Rosso. Give 3rd place to White Fountain. However, remember, with those time penalties from Foxy Red, he likely will end up in the 3rd position instead of the 2nd position as they run right now, barring any time penalties from White Fountain. Eight laps on those hard tires for Scope Builder, and some of you that may look incredibly impressive, and to be fair, it is, but I seen it happen yesterday. I expected this to happen. He pitted on lap 9 to take the hard tires, and he has not looked back since. He's dropped as far back as the 5th position and worked his way back up to the 1st position with a little bit of help from pit stops, of course. But 28 laps on those hard tires, and Scope Builder might just walk away with this win. Lap 38 of 39. Just 2 laps to go. Foxy Red putting an enormous amount of pressure on Scope Builder in that Renault. Foxy Red, though, remember, he has time penalties. Even if he gets by, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Approaching the hairpin now. Will Foxy Red try anything at all? He gets very close to that Renault, but cannot make any sort of pass. But he is super close as they now enter the tunnel. Approaching the chicane. Scope Builder stays ahead still, with Foxy Red following close behind in the second position. Looks like there's some lap traffic up ahead of them, but I don't think it's going to matter. We're coming to the white flag lap this time. In the DRS zone, Foxy Red undoubtedly has DRS. It looked like White Fountain got really loose out of that corner, but he saved it. White Fountain still in the third position here as Foxy Red right on the back of Scope Builder. Very much on the back of him. Going to try to make a move there. Not going to work though. But he is following Scope Builder closely, trying to capitalize on any mistake that Renault might make. Lap traffic of LR Archie, I don't know if that's going to come into play or not. At the hairpin now, the absolute worst time to catch that lap traffic, but Archie is just a little bit more ahead of them, so they got lucky there. Foxy Red in second, Scope Builder in first, Renault versus Alfa Romeo versus Toro Rosso in third. Approaching lap traffic, I don't know if it's going to be a factor or not. Scope Builder still in first place as they approach this chicane. All three drivers get through very smoothly, no corner cuts, no overshots, no lockups. Foxy Red, it's all over for him as he is now receiving an enormous amount of pressure from White Fountain in that Toro Rosso. It's going to be all over for him as he will not be able to win this race and he will not be able to take second place. It is the white flag lap and it is the last stretch, and Scope Builder in the Renault will officially win this race. He will win the Monaco Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League's F1 Equal League. White Fountain crosses the line in third, but due to time penalties from Foxy Red, he will finish in second position, followed by Foxy Red 2000, Tamworth Fox in the fourth position, CPI Alex in the fifth position as of right now. And that is how they are going to finish, as you see CPI Alex now rounding what is some of the final corners he will take in this race. M. Doran in 6th, LR Archie in 7th, TB in 8th, and Yas in the 9th position. I want to remind all the viewers to stick around after the race. We will have some short interviews with our top 3 finishers of Scope Builder, White Fountain, and Foxy Red 2000. But congratulations to Scope Builder on winning the Monaco Grand Prix for the F1 Equal League. See the drivers there celebrating on the podium. A Renault, an Alfa Romeo, and a Toro Rosso all on the podium at the same time. That is something you're not going to see in the real F1, that's for sure, at least not for a long time. And now your official running order, finishing order of the Monaco Grand Prix. Scope Builder in first, White Fountain in second, Foxy Red in third, Tamworth Fox in the fourth position, CPI Alex in fifth, sixth is M. Doran, Archie in seventh, TB in eighth, ninth is Yas, and then Ton Albanot, IXE Fun, Aaron JS, Partridge 99, and Samu DePaito. 10th through 14th, all DNFs. Unfortunate for them, but that's just the way these things work. Now remember, if you want to listen to the driver interviews of the top 3, we will have some short interviews here momentarily. I, in fact, will invite them to my party right now. Stand by. Hey Scope, hey White Fountain, how you doing? Do you all have Foxy Red on your friends list. Can you invite him? Because I don't. All right, and then we will get the interviews underway. Do what? All right. To the viewers still watching on Twitch, we're going to wait for our third place finisher of Foxy Red to join the party before we undertake interviews. But while we're waiting on him, I will say that that was quite an interesting race from, well, really from everybody, but that was just in general an interesting race, and I thought that it was going to be a lot worse at the beginning there because Yas, when he was running fourth, he just completely lost it. That happened behind you, Scope Filter, so you may not have been aware of that. But on the first lap, he just completely lost it, got into the wall, and it was like a 4 or 5 car wreck. Well, involved anyway. Now, White Fountain, can you say something just to see if I can? Oh, yes, okay, I see now. I was just making sure that I can hear you. I can never hear people in the lobbies, but I can hear them in the chat, so that's why. Do you know if Foxy Red is coming? All right, well, we'll just go ahead and undertake interviews. So, first off, I'm going to start with Scope Filter here. We saw your strategy yesterday in the Monaco Grand Prix for the Performance League. Taking hard tires and then running on them for about 30 laps. You employed that strategy here today. Was it any more difficult for you because it seemed like you had a little bit more um, challenge from behind? Because White Fountain there at the end, he was all up on your bumper. Yeah, it was really only a 3 car battle for the lead there at the end. Foxy Red had quite a few time penalties, so there really wasn't any way that he was going to be able to, get up there and win the race. But it really made it interesting. White Fountain, I saw you for about the last 5 laps or so, maybe even more than that, just completely on the back of of Scope Builder, and then you were receiving pressure from Foxy Red as well. So just tell us a little bit about your battle between Scope Filter and then with Foxy Red and how you were able to get by the Alfa Romeo there at the end. Ah, yes. And now we see that Foxy Red has joined the chat. Interviews have just now started. Hi, Foxy Red. You finished in the third position. How are you doing? Just to confirm, can you say something just so I know that you can hear me? Well, never mind. He doesn't want to talk to us. Well, that'll be okay. um, he one of the issues that well, now okay. Uh, if you said something and I couldn't hear you, try allowing your voice. What you have to do is you have to go over to the party settings and then go down to allow your voice being shared and hit always allow. That's actually something I learned yesterday because I am terrible with this PS4 chat. I'm still not hearing anything from you. Well, going back to scope filter now, was there any point in the race that you thought that maybe that 30 lap on hard tire strategy wasn't going to work for you because you dropped all the way back to the fifth position, and the Alfa Romeos of Foxy Red and LR Archie they stayed out for 25 laps on their medium tires. So did you think that that maybe you made the wrong call there? And Foxy Red, I think I saw some waveforms coming from your speaker there, so I'm going to ask you: did you and Archie were you in a party together or something, or did you plan to for both of you to go those 25 laps or so on the mediums, then to pit for the softs? Because I was surprised to see you all drive that long on those medium tires, but then you pitted and I saw you were taking the softs, and I figured that well, that's obviously at this point the best way to go. But tell us a little bit about the thinking behind your strategy there. Now, can I get your view? Because this was happening about 3 laps in a row, and I'm just going to go ahead and say I have absolutely no opinion on what's happening. I'm just simply asking a question. Can I get your view on the contact between you and Ton Albanach? Because there was one, you know, there was contact basically 3 laps in a row, and then right before he retired, it looked like you kind of got into the back of him. But I'm not sure what happened there. The camera angles weren't exactly the best anyway. He did each and every time. I kept seeing Ton Albanach, 5 second or 3 second or whatever it's supposed to give you, and then there at the end, it just I saw him in the middle out there in the chicane, and then he was just kind of then he just it was DNF. So I had no idea what went on there. So White Fountain, as I said, you had an amazing battle with Scope Filter and Foxy Red there for a little bit. And, as you said, you were behind Scope Filter for the whole race. Uh, what do you think you could have done differently, maybe to give you that advantage and get by scope filter? All right. Well, we had 14 drivers out there today. I want to say good job to each and every one of you, and I have you three here today, so I'm going to say good job to Scope Filter, good job to White Fountain, and good job to Foxy Red 2000. It was a good race, very entertaining to watch. And do you all have any parting words for the viewers on Twitch or anything that you want to say before we hop off of here? All right, yep. Next week is France. Correct me if I'm wrong, and it's going to be very exciting, I'm sure. And I will see you, Scope, White Fountain, Foxy Red, and the rest at France next week. Have a good night, you guys. Yep. And have a good night to all the viewers on Twitch. And thank you for joining in to watch the Monaco Grand Prix for the F1 Equal League for the Invictus Racing League. I am Tim. I'm signing off here tonight. My dog, he wants to go outside. He's been begging me the whole stream. So, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.